Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to my Azerbaijan Grand Prix preview. Now, 2017 in Baku was an incredible race, probably race of the year, I think it's fair to say. And with the races we've just enjoyed in Bahrain and China, we wouldn't mind another absolute belter this weekend. Now, before I jump any further into this preview, just to let you know, I have been taking your feedback since China, and so this race preview is going to be a little bit different to how the previous three were structured this season. On that note, we're going to start with a look back at 2017, and it was Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton who took pole position for the race with a time of 1:40.593. And as we know, after absolute chaos and an incredible three-car overtake, which, quite frankly, I never get bored of watching. Daniel Ricciardo, he went on to take victory from Valtteri Bottas and Lance Stroll, who was very unlucky to miss out on second place right on the line, as I'm sure you remember. And Sebastian Vettel holds the race lap record with a 1:43.441, obviously set last year. It really was a race that had everything last year, overtaking action, drama, and of course a little bit of controversy, which we're not going to jump into again. And it also saw the highlight of Lance Stroll's career so far. He managed to nick that podium, of course, like I say, just missing out on second place. Yes, very lucky due to all the chaos in the race, but still, on a driver's CV, a podium is a podium. Interestingly enough, actually, Lance Stroll saying this week that he felt he could have actually won the race had he defended harder from Daniel Ricciardo at the race restart. He said that he was braking a little bit earlier for turn one because there was so much going on. So, you know, he's fairly confident he could have won that one. I'm not entirely sure, and I'll let you guys make your own mind up on that one. The track itself is just over 6 kilometres. If you prefer to work in miles, that's 3.73. And that translates to a race length of just over 306 kilometres. That is 190.170. And we've got a total of 51 laps, and a safety car is highly likely. Looking back to last year, and I guess 2016 to an extent, the trickiest part of the track is probably the castle section, particularly turn 8. It's very tight, and as we saw in F2 last year, it can cause absolute chaos. And in my personal opinion, that final sector is one of the best in the world to watch as a fan. The cars are flat out for so long, sweeping round those corners. It just looks amazing. If you're a long-time viewer of the channel, you'll know that I'm not a big fan of street circuits. I don't feel like they give you much reward as a fan in terms of overtaking. But generally, the layout of the circuit is actually pretty good. But like I say, with it being a street circuit, it's likely that we're going to see more races like 2016 rather than the race we saw last year with all that chaos. But we can live in hope. The tyres available for this weekend's event are the soft, the super soft and the ultra soft, with most drivers taking a lot of sets of the ultra soft. Ferrari, Vettel and Raikkonen taking 10 sets each, and that's mirrored by Van Dorn, Ericsson and Leclerc, with the Mercedes boys taking 9 and the Red Bull boys taking 8. So some aggressive tyre choices in there, and that should lead to a very nice mix of strategy on Sunday. Before I jump into my race predictions and my one to watch for this weekend, there was one thing I wanted to touch on, and that's all of this centering around Daniel Ricciardo's future, and it very much dominated today's press conference. Red Bull have set him a deadline to make his decision. They've said they want to know either way by the summer break. There are also reports in the media that he signed a deal with Ferrari that effectively gives them, from what I understand, exclusivity in any kind of negotiations. However, during the press conference, Daniel Ricciardo has categorically denied that that is the case. He's insisted there is no agreement with Ferrari and that the only team he's spoken to this point is Red Bull. He was also pressed on whether Ferrari's tendency to favour one driver over another would make a difference in whether or not he would move to the Scuderia, with the Aussie saying, "Wherever I may be or go, I will always make sure that there was some clarity. I wouldn't want to go somewhere where I didn't feel I had a chance. What I'm chasing is to try and be world champion. That's my goal, my dream, and something I really believe I'm capable of. If someone said, 'We'll let you here, but you can't do this,' then that is not an attractive option for me." I'm not going to go any more in depth on this subject because I have got a video planned for this in the future. And to be honest, I don't really see the point in going over anything else from today's press conference. Like I said, it was pretty much dominated by Daniel Ricciardo's future. And I kind of feel as though Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hülkenberg could have sat this one out and taken the morning off. So, my one to watch for this weekend then, I've picked Fernando Alonso this time round. Pretty much based on how he's been in the first 3 races of 2018, but also how he handled Baku last year. Yes, okay, it was a crazy race in 2017. He benefited from safety cars and retirements, but he went from 16th on the grid to finish 9th in the race in a car that was pretty dire last year, let's be honest. And if you look at how he's gone in 2018 so far, he's regularly struggled in qualifying, around 11th, 12th, 13th place. Yet he's recovered well. Again, yes, he's been lucky in some circumstances, but his season results read as 5th, 7th and 7th. And on a track that will see safety cars, and with his experience and McLaren's experience of being able to capitalise on things like that, don't rule him out of a top-end points finish, and possibly even if it's crazy like last year, we could even see him on the podium. I'm not predicting him to get that, but you just never know. He is the kind of driver that on the right day, under the right circumstances, can pull that kind of result out of the hat. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll already know this, but earlier today I posted a couple of polls for you guys to take part in. First of all, I asked who you thought would be on pole for the 2018 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and 37% of you think that Lewis Hamilton will take pole this Saturday. I then asked who you thought would win the Grand Prix, and 36% of you think that Sebastian Vettel will go on to win the race on Sunday. I feel as though you've hedged your bets a little bit, but that's absolutely fine. It's the best way to do it in some ways. One driver I didn't put in the poll, but was actually quite popular in the comments, was Max Verstappen. And there was a very good point made that perhaps this weekend he's got a point to prove after what happened in China, and he's going to want to bounce back. So maybe, just maybe, if things work out for Red Bull, he could be the one to do it. But let's have a look at my predictions for this weekend's Grand Prix. And I've thought outside the box a little bit for this one. So I've picked Kimi Räikkönen for pole position. The reason I've done that is because if you look at this season so far, particularly Bahrain and China, and actually although not for pole, in Australia as well, he was quicker than his teammate through the whole of qualifying, apart from on that final flying lap. And there's going to come a point where Kimi Räikkönen nails that last lap and gets pole position. So I'm going to say Kimi Räikkönen for pole. But for the win, despite the fact that because of that long straight and the dependence on power, I'm going to say Daniel Ricciardo to win it. I think we will see a couple of safety cars on Sunday, and if, as we saw in China, the safety car comes out at the right point for Red Bull and they make that switch and go aggressive, you just know that Daniel Ricciardo will pull off the overtakes. He's also trying to prove a point of his own, of course. His contract's up at the end of the year, he's entering negotiations, he's going to want to make sure he gets himself in that shop window even more than he already has. So Räikkönen for pole and Ricciardo for the race win. Why not? And finally, don't forget that Formula 2 is back again this weekend. We had a great race in Bahrain, so hopefully we'll get some more of the same. If you are interested in F2 practice, it takes place at 8 AM UK time on Friday, with qualifying the same day at 12 midday. Race 1 is at 9 AM on Saturday, with race 2 taking place at 10 past 10 on the Sunday. And if you haven't watched F2 before, I highly recommend giving it a go this weekend. So the question, I guess, of today is, who do you think will be on top this weekend in Baku? Who's going to get pole position and who will go on to win the race? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I will be back on Saturday shortly after qualifying with my qualifying report. And don't forget to join us live this Sunday within an hour of the race finishing for the Baku race debrief. In the meantime, now you can follow me on social media. Links to Facebook, Twitter and to Discord are all in the description down below. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean. This has been the F1 Word. And until next time, goodbye.